feel of what is happening on the campus in terms of those efforts. We have Dr. Hill and Dr. Record making a list of all of these ideas so that Dr. Brown can follow up on them. But I think that that is something that we need to at least evaluate, because I think a lot of people can say we've done a lot with that. But here we are with faculty suggesting that more needs to be done. Okay, Dr. Miller.
Yes, there are two areas that I'd like to speak to briefly: academic rigor and also salaries and compensation. And with academic rigor, it always seemed to me as though one small effort that can go a very, very long way is recognizing our students from day one in a very tangible way. And that is by taking attendance and posting that before the census date. I just want to say this: if you're teaching a class of 30 students and you miss the census date for those students, you just cost the university for that class around $10,000. That's what you're billing the university for. So that's one thing I think that as faculty we can certainly do. The other is I just have this feeling that students in the first couple of years at university should have to go to an advisor before putting together that class schedule. I want to speak to that just briefly. A number of years ago, we had a academic council meeting, and we were discussing that very issue. And we had faculty on one side and faculty on the other side. And there was a young lady in the room who had just come to Southern as a graduate student. And someone said, well, where did you graduate from, a young lady? She said, well, I graduated from UC San Diego. And they said, did you have anything like this at your university? And they said, yes, we actually had to have an advisor sign off on our schedule for the first 3 years. Only in our senior year could we make our own schedule without going to an advisor. And so the next question was, and how did you like it? She said, we all hated it for the first 3 years and loved it. Because by that time, we were mature enough and experienced enough to look back and understand that had we not had that guidance for those first 2 or 3 years, we would have been adding an extra year, extra money to our schedule. And so those are a couple of practical things. You said show problem, show solution. That would be my recommendation. Salary and compensation, that's a recurrent issue, and sometimes it seem like a tired issue for administrators, I guess, because we're always coming back. But we are so poorly, so poorly supported in terms of our salary that it's just got to be a critical issue. And one of our faculty members was saying, are the universities are poaching our faculty, or our faculty are leaving just because the salaries are below competitive. And I'll just say this one thing. The one thing which you hear again and again at board meetings and other places, we got to support the students. And while I agree with that, there's always came at me sideways, because if you want to support students, support the faculty and then give them free rein to do their job. Because oftentimes when you hear support the students, it almost comes across as if we got to get past the faculty to help our students. No, you have to support your faculty and allow them to perform with full support of the
If there are other persons who would like to speak to the issue of salaries, I think this would be a good time, since it was such a major red dot issue. Good. And while Dr. Miller is helping her document that, since we have no one else who wants to talk about salary. Okay, Dr. Kamdu. Okay.
Well, salary is a major issue. When the faculty department brings grants money, we cannot utilize the grant money because of poor management. Money goes back. That is the issue. That if the faculty department bringing external funding, If the faculty or department bring external funding, faculty should be given merit raise based on what we bring. But it is a one-way traffic. The finance department, nothing comes back to the department. Of course, I appreciate Dr. Brown's PowerPoint showing that he will work on it so that some money could be returned to the college and the department. But this has been a struggle for 31 years in this university. It never
31
happened.
years, he said.
Huh? So I want to appreciate your point that you're going to look into that matter and implement immediately.
Immediately. Dr. Brown, he did say they've been working on it for 31 years, but for you, it's immediate.
Well, if he can do some miracle in 24 months,
Gotcha.
and I'll be watching him, I'll be middle 54%.
Gotcha.
Got it?
Thank you, Dr. Compton. We have, in the, Dr. Lou now. I know you think I know your name, but stand up and introduce yourself. No.
I'm Elaine Lunau. I'm in the Department
Your
of
name.
Technology. My comment simply has to do with salaries. Basically, to hear me, it's basically to reiterate what has already been said. I'd like to see an actual plan developed. Faculty has not had a salary increase in 8 years of this university, which I think is ridiculous. More than 8 years, more than 8 years. One of the things that the new president LSU did when he came in last year, 2 years ago, one of the first actions he took was to raise the salary of faculty. I'd like to see our administration at this university have a strategic plan to do the same thing. I, for one, am a little bit tired of promises every year. Yes, we know faculty need salary increases. Yes, it should happen. It has not happened until it becomes a primary item on the agenda of this administration, including the Board of Supervisors. It's not going to happen. The only way a person is raised in this institution is if they take on an administrative position. The university seems quite able to find salaries and find the salaries that are reasonably comparable to administrators, but it does not seem to be able to be so motivated for faculty. I'd like to also see the faculty senate take the leadership, work with this administration to develop a specific plan, not the talk, not the promises, because we're all a little bit tired of that. And some of us would like to be able to at least approach those salaries that are needed. And so, not the words, not the promises, not the I know you need a raise, but a plan. Since we have new administrators here, I'd like them to follow the lead of the president of LSU, who came in, one of his first actions, as I said, was to give a raise to the faculty. Thank you.
Alonzo Johnson, Department of Computer Science, addresses the issues in reference to being advised and advisement of the students. The technology exists already in Banner. First of all, Banner can flag all registration whether it's in whole until you see an advisor. And you decide when that student is able to take your classes. Second of all, the department chair has the ability to make it a requirement to get approval to enroll in any class in their department. Now, it will require more work. You're willing to do the work, and we can accomplish whatever it is in terms of goals of making it more of a requirement for the students to get approval for their academic schedule before they enter into those courses. You can also take an enrollment of freshman classes to find out what students are majoring in your department by simply, if we maintain a folder on every student that's majoring in your department, compare that freshman class that you're enrolling in for your major, compare it to the folders, and find out who's majoring in your department without having been approved by your department. Yes, also, we have more serious problems with the fact that student shows up in class for the first 3-4 weeks without textbooks, waiting for financial aid. You say you give them a voucher to go to the bookstore. Students have the knowledge enough to see that they can go online and purchase a book for a third, fourth, or fifth of the price that they would pay in the bookstore. They are not going to get the book voucher in the bookstore. They're going to wait for 4 weeks, which they're suffering to purchase the book offline once they get their money. We need to come up with a solution where that when the students show up in class, they have a textbook. They go through the first exam and most of the first half of the semester without a textbook.
I think it's a good idea. How do we improve?
And can let me ask a question, because I was reading about this issue and I just want some more feedback on the textbooks. In particular, the notion of tangible physical textbooks versus online. One of the things that was experimented with in Mississippi that has been working extremely well, but it requires an online adoption, which is the challenge, is that all students, when they register and get their courses, are given access to those textbooks online for 4 weeks until they finish clearing. If you don't, the access ends in 4 weeks, but that's only online, so, I mean, not online, but on the tablet, iPad, Kindle. But if it's a tangible book, they may not, if we give it to them, they may not turn it back in. So it won't be in the same condition. But what is the thought on textbooks, online versus, what I should say, online, digital versus physical? Because the digital systems now provide that option where a university can provide every student access for the first 4 weeks of a class and then turn it off. So just in my head.
Right. I think what Dr. Johnson is speaking to, in addition to that, is the fact that students on financial aid are given a book voucher. You can use the book voucher during the first 4 weeks if you go to the bookstore and purchase your book. The bookstore at SUBR. But what students are doing is not using that book voucher at our bookstore, but waiting until they have access to open purchase, right? Which gives them 4 weeks in the class without a book because they can purchase it cheaper.
I heard that part, but I'm saying that if that's true, but if there's digital books, it's sort of, I was on a parallel track, but that's true. But in the digital, they can be given access for a fixed period of time, just like on Amazon, where you can have a trial and look at a book, you can read the first couple of pages. And so it's the same concept. I just didn't know if the fact it had those conversations with the thoughts were.
SLU right down the interstate there already have implemented a plan where the students have textbooks day one.
Right. And I think
it's not impossible.
I think we've got full support for this one, right? To move forward on some plan to address these issues. You want to speak to this issue, Dr. Bagayoko? Okay, because then I've got Emma Perry, I've got Dr. Mohammedian, I've got some people in the back. So you get a minute to speak to this issue.
Textbook, just to know the provost posed a question. It has to do with digital versus the book, paper. All I want to say is this. What we know from cognition theory, what we know from the operation of human memory, and what we know from the current background of our students, it is out of the question to go entirely online unless we no longer want to teach, or if we want them to graduate without mastering the subject matter, period. Someone has a different opinion, go check the
Okay. I'm Habib Mohammedi, Dean of College of Engineering and Computer Science. My comment on the student quality. We spend a lot of time to recruit the students, but we lose them in process. We in College of Engineering, for example, and computer science, we lose more than 50% of the recruits. The reasons are that the students that pick those majors, they are not really qualified. We have to make sure that the student quality at the time of admission is to the level that we want to, they select a major. And on the salary and compensation, my comment is that the salary adjustment and raise are two different components, that both of them has to be addressed. Salary adjustment across the board, merit raise is very important to distinguish and really value those faculty members that doing and they try things and they go the extra miles. Thank you.
We have a young man in our back. Introduce yourself.
Dr. Reeves from the Mathematics, Physics, and Science Mathematics Department. One thing I'd like to point out is to find out what are you going to do to connect faculty access to proper technology. Like I have 2 faculty in my department, in my program, not including me, who have lost their computers and they have no way to as you said, turn in those the S and NS from school. And in my office, I've got a Mac computer, an i5, and a laptop. The problem is, I bought those and brought those to school. Okay? So you got people who are using stuff that they're 12 years old. It doesn't work. So if you can't provide them with the proper equipment to do things, getting up and demanding that they do things is kind of, is kind of inadequate.
I think we'll all agree on that one. We have a young lady.
I am Dr. Jacqueline Jacobs from the College of Education, Arts, and Humanities. I have a question. I am excited to see salary and compensation at the top of the list, but daily I hear in the news that the state is in debt, and we know that one of the first things that normally happen is that there is a cut in education. How will we be able to bring faculty salaries and compensation up when it appears that we're going to have a cut in education? I am tired of hearing make me feel good discussions, but in actuality, the same thing continues to happen over and over again. Will you please address where the money is going to come from for the salaries if we are cutting education?
I can't answer what the state is going to do, and I haven't been in the state 3 months yet. And there's a new governor, so I have no clue. I've only read what happens in the paper, but I will tell you that you can only spend $1 one time. That's in your house, that's in your church, your organization, doesn't matter where it is. And so you have to prioritize where you spend your dollar. And if you make that a priority and commit to it, then you'll do it. It's no different than if you have your monthly bills, which may be set almost to the penny. But if your roof caves in and it's not covered by the insurance, or if your child has a critical need or illness, you're going to have to repurpose and reappropriate what you normally would have done into that area of priority. And so the reality is that there are times when you have to put certain money first. You know, when I first moved to grad school, my grandmother taught me how to pay my bills. And she said the first thing you pay is your tithes, so you can keep favor with the Creator. Then the second thing you pay is your lodging, so that even if you have to take the bus or walk to work, you got a place to stay. Then you pay for the car, so if you have to get an extra job, you can wash it, the laundry if you need to, but you can get to and from. Then you pay your light, then you pay your water, but you have to prioritize. And if you don't put something as a priority, and you're not gonna fund it as a priority. And what I think I've heard and what the report shows is that this faculty has said to the administration that this is the first thing that should be paid for before we pay for anything else. Now, the challenge is to now watch and see if that happens. But it's certainly my commitment to keep this at the forefront and try to make it happen. So, but I think that it's clear that this is the priority. Now we have to make sure that it gets funded like a priority.
My name is Emma Perry, and I'm Dean of Libraries here at Southern University. I think most of you know that if we did not have a library, our students would not be able to study and also use the online services that we have. And since the library is the center of the university, I certainly hope that Dr. Brown will pay some attention to the fact that customer service here at Southern University needs to be improved. We think we have it pretty much under control in the library because the faculty and staff already know that they don't want to come to my office if someone come and complain to me that they did not treat the students well. So I think we need to work on customer service. I think it will serve as a retention tool, and because I know some students leave and they say, well, they're not going to send the money back, they're not going to come back or whatever. But we need to be kind to these students. We need to help them in any way that we can. We need to eliminate these bad attitudes when we interact with the students, because people in the library know that anyone that comes to that library, and if they have a question, I operate an open door policy. And I will stop whatever I'm doing to see a student at any time. So I think we need to work on customer service.
Good evening. My name is Mahmoud Ibrahim. I'm a professor in the Department of Mass Communication, and I want to address an issue that relates to technology. So it might be a little bit unique to mass communication, so please bear with me for a second. 8 years ago, the department had a serious problem with technology, and if you think about it, mass communication is mediated communication, mediated through technology. If you don't have the technology, you don't have mass communication. 8 years ago, I worked with the administration to institute a technology fee for the department because the university is not making the commitment to give us adequate funds to provide technology for the students. So I went through, it took me almost 4 years to convince the administration to approve through the Board of Supervisors technology fee. And now we have been levying these technology fees from the students every semester. Dr. Brown, I want you to listen to this carefully, please, sir. The university takes the fees and keeps the fees. We are not given the money to provide technology for the students and for the instruction. I received 1 semester fees, the rest of it is kept by the university. These fees were dedicated for technology for the department. The department's technology is deteriorating so fast. It's unbelievably, it's just not functional at all. When I became chair for a while, for about 10 years, it took me a long time to bring the technology in the department up to par. Since then, it has been going down. And the only reason I asked the administration to give us technology fees, which we took from the students, was to upgrade and maintain the equipment. But the university kept the fees. Therefore, the technology went down. So please address this issue so that we can get these funds and give them to the departments that levy these fees to serve the students.
Technology appears to be a big issue. And there appears to be consensus that technology in our department should be improved. We have Dr. Ichigiri and then a young lady back here.
Dr. Remy, thank you. Mine will be very brief. I want to talk about student quality / enrollment. Again, for the graduate school. My mission is to grow the graduate programs. So what I'm asking the administration to help me with relates to the tuition waiver. And here is the logic. If you're in a business and you sell your product for $40 and you only get 10 to 4 people purchasing that, if you reduce it from $40 to $20 and you get 100 people buying your product, you end up making more profit than you would otherwise. What I'm suggesting or requesting is that we consider tuition waiver at the graduate level, at a limited level, like most of our competitors, in fact, have the policy I'm advocating for. If you do that, the enrollment in graduate school would quadruple indeed. And that would be to our own advantage, even with the Board of Regents, since most of the revenue will be contingent on the number of graduates and credit hours. So there is an incentive to attract and grow the graduate programs. If it is done at undergraduate tuition waiver, there's no reason it cannot be done at the graduate level. Thank you.
We appreciate those pearls of wisdom. We're going to be wrapping this up because guess what? Lunch is.
So I'll be very brief. My name is Tia Edwards. I am I on the line?
Yes, no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. I am Tia Edwards, and I am an adjunct professor here, and I teach techniques of speech in education, arts, and humanities. Dr. Brown, you mentioned on several occasions that this is about solutions. And one thing you mentioned that really caught my attention was if we drew 3 circles, one of those circles would focus on what are we passionate about at Southern University. The other circle would focus on what are we good at? What can we do very well? And that other circle would focus on how do we make money? And I think this piggybacks on what our librarian talked about, being customer service. If we are not passionate about our students, our clients, if we are not passionate about what we do every single day and do very well for our clients, our customers, our students, then surely we're not going to make any money. So for me, if it's not all focused on the client, which is the customer, which is the student, then the solution for those 3 circles, which tie all 3 together, you can loop them, intertwine them, that's the solution. Is everything is client focused, which solves the issues relative to client quality, which is student quality, technology, faculty raises, evaluation, performance evaluations, if we focus on the client, which is the student.
Pulling it all together for us. We have 2 more, Dr. Samuel, and then we'll end with Dr. Bagley. Right here. We'll have.
No, I never.
Okay, Dr. Gonna share the mic.
Okay, I have 2 quick observations that I like to make. A lot has been said about textbooks and that issue. We have got to do something about financial aid. This idea of holding kids' money for 4 weeks, giving them no other option but a $500 voucher, which has not changed in 8 years. That's an insane policy. And it's at the root of a lot of our problems with retention and academic performance. Get some kind of flow material. We have got to figure that out because we're losing students because of financial aid. And they're telling their friends not to come to summer. We have got to fix that. We got to stop talking about it. We got to fix it this semester. That's one thing. And final thing I want to mention was about salary and compensation. We keep saying, well, our plan, we're going to deal with it next year, the next year. One thing we can do now is to fix summer school. How we compensate faculty in the summer is criminal on this campus. And we treat the summer school budget like it's a savings account that we can just kind of spend and spend. And then when summer school come around, we say, well, we don't have money to pay faculty with this crazy formula. Prioritize paying faculty fairly in summer school. You're not going to fix summer school if you're not willing to pay people to teach. And that's also a retention issue, by the way, as well. A lot of our students are not graduating on time because they can't get the courses they need, because they can't depend on the courses being offered. We have got to fix that. And we need to do it. We need to do this semester.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Osman Kandara from Computer Science. I want to bring up the issue for the global initiatives. I think we have to pay attention to that as well, particularly to attract and recruit students to our graduate school. And in that respect, actually, we do have a standing by agreement with Turkey, and then we do have now a center in Turkey, so we could attract more, particularly students to the graduate school. And in that respect, actually, Dr. Jigri has visited Turkey and then, did some effort, and along with other deans as well, Dr. Bagayoto, Dr. Habib Mohammedi, and Dr. Kostavi, Dr. Kavran Abdullah as well. So I think we have to pay attention to the global initiatives to attract students, international students, to our graduate school as well. I just want to make a comment on that.
Thank you so much for your input. And we're going to end with a statement from Dr. Bagay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the last time I stood up, I neglected to say who I am. My name is Jola Bagayoko. And the other thing I wanted to say is that this event has been very helpful in the sense that, ladies and gentlemen, we just came up with the solution for the raises. Remember, the provost has had on the board the 3 P's. The third P was the one with enrollment. Remember that when you check the system in Louisiana, the way universities are funded, the single most critical way to make money is through student enrollment, period. And student carrying their credit at the end, number one. Number two, given the fact that graduate credit are sometimes 10 to 20 times more valued dollar-wise by the region than undergraduate, then growing and maintaining, retaining in the undergraduate level is a sure way of making money literally overnight. Let me add that the service issue that was raised, if we are serious and we go campus-wide to make genuine effort, like a 2016 pledge, to extraordinarily improve what we do there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm submitting to you that by the end of the year, we will have enough money flowing to get the raises which are needed.
We want to remind you to complete the yellow sheets. And I would like to thank Dr. Brown for allowing us as faculty to provide input. And this is just the beginning, right?
We have Dr. Brown explaining a quick quote. If you turn in your survey results and you Please return your completed survey form to the table in the back, and lunch will be served